Welcome and karibuni to Aroma of Zanzibar. Today I'm going to share with you how I'm making this beautiful, moist, velvety, red velvet cake. So I'm going to start by making the buttermilk, and I'm using 1 cup of whole milk, and to that I added 1 tablespoon of distilled vinegar. You could use lemon or lime for that as well. And for the dry ingredients, I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that I added 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of salt and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and we're just gonna sift this. And then mix it well to combine, making sure that all the dry ingredients are well distributed. Now I've got about half a cup of soft butter over here and 2 cups of granulated sugar. And I like to use the butter in this cake to get that beautiful, rich, buttery taste in a cake. So I'm just going to cream it this very well. And once I get to this consistency, I added half a cup of oil. All right, you can use any type of oil that does not have any strong aromas or flavors. Now the oil is to add the moisture in the cake. All right, so we're just gonna cream it very well until you get nice, fluffy mixture like this. And then at this point, we're ready to add the eggs. I've got 4 eggs at room temperature, and we're just gonna add 1 at a time. Once the yellow has disappeared, then we're gonna add the next one. 2 went in there. And then I finished, and once you get to this consistency, as you can see, it's beautiful and nice. And I am ready to add the color. You can use a gel paste like this, or you could use a powdered like this. You'll get this in the food section where they sell the masalas and stuff like that. This is a biryani color, but it's a food color, so I'm using that one. It's more economical too for those who don't have gel paste. So I just started with maybe about, I think it's a half a teaspoon. I really don't measure. And then you're just going to mix it, and if you need to add more, go ahead and add more. So I decided to add more color. Yeah, it was almost red, pinkish red, as you can see, but I think also because of the lights. I was doing this video at night, which I really don't like it. And also do remember that when you add the dry ingredients, the shade will change because of the cocoa powder. All right, so I think this is fine for me. And in the buttermilk, I've just added my last bit of vanilla and 1.5 teaspoons of vinegar. Now this vinegar at this point is to add that nice tangy flavor in the cake. All right, and I usually like to add cinnamon powder in my red velvet, just a little pinch. Even chocolate cake, it's optional, you don't have to if you're not comfortable with that. So I'm ready to add my dry ingredients here in 3 portions, and just mix it. I don't like to combine it completely before I add the wet ingredients. So I just go and add half of the wet ingredients simply because I don't like to overmix the cake. When you overmix the batter, your cake will become tough. So I went ahead and added my second portion of the dry ingredients, and then the last portion of the wet ingredients. Just use a spatula, mix, and then my last portion of the dry ingredients. Okay, so I just use the whisk. And now I'm going to add the last ingredient, which is hot coffee. Now, coffee enhances the chocolate flavors in any chocolate cake, and for this matter, even in the red velvet, since it's got cocoa. This is a 1/4 cup of hot coffee, and I'm using decaffeinated coffee because, of the kids. And yeah, that's about it. It really, really brings a beautiful flavor in this cake. Okay? So once it's well combined, I'm ready to pour it in my pans. I've got 3 8-inch floured pans, And my oven is ready at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 176 Celsius. And these are going to bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. You just want to tap it down to release all the air bubbles. And we're ready to go. So about 28 minutes, my cakes were perfectly ready, perfectly baked and ready. So we're just going to release it. And we're going to put them in a rack to let them cool. So now I'm ready to make my cream cheese buttercream, and I'm using 2 packets of Philadelphia. This is about 8 ounce. And I've used 1.5 cups of icing sugar, powdered sugar. You can use more if you want to. And then 1/2 cup of butter. Please make sure that the butter and the cheese are both in room temperature. This is to avoid having over whipping your cream, because you'll have lumps, and once you overbeat it, it becomes very soft. Okay, so I'm just going to start with the butter and the sugar first. Just about 2 minutes, and until I get some crumbs, just like that. And then I'm ready to add the cream cheese. Both the packets. And then we're going to cream this well. So since the cream cheese is also in room temperature, you will not have lumps. And this shouldn't take more than 3 minutes to get a nice creamy texture. And a little bit of vanilla, if you want. And here we have some nice fluffy cream cheese buttercream. See how beautiful this is? The cake has cooled. Now I'm ready to assemble. Just removing this to get some crumbs. You can see the nice and fluffy. All right, so on my turntable, I've just kept a small towel there because, as you can see, the cake board is very, very thin and flimsy. I don't want it to shift around. And I'm using the cream cheese buttercream as a glue. We're going to place the cake upside down. Now for the buttercream, I like to use a piping bag so that I can get a uniform size of the buttercream, and I'm looking for a nice thick layer of the buttercream. If you don't want it so thick, you can use a bag that has a smaller hole, or you can use a spatula to spread the buttercream. Then I go with the second layer, and same process. Now the amount of buttercream that I have prepared is just enough for a rustic cake that I was after. So if you need more, I will put another measurement in the description box below. I'll put 2 measurements so you can pick the one that you want. And we're just going to seal the gap here and here. And we're just going to use the rest of the buttercream to put it on the top. That's it. And we're just going to use an offset spatula. The plastic one didn't work well, so I had to change it. I'm just going to spread it well. It depends if you need more, if you need less. It depends on the look that you're after. And after this, I kept it in the fridge to chill for about 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes, I'm using my bench scraper to spread it well all over to give me that nice rustic look that I was after. Now, there are areas that do not have the buttercream. I was planning to use this the following day, so I'm just going to make sure that I cover this area, because, when you keep the cake in the fridge, it becomes dry if it's not. The buttercream is what seals and protects the cake from becoming dry. Let me put it that way. So I'm just going to put some extra there. Whatever I have left, just to make sure that the whole cake is covered with a buttercream. And now we're at the top. We just scrape. And that's it. I just kept it in the fridge for another 15 minutes. And then you can decorate it however you like it. Now, we love sprinkles and gold. Okay, so I just got those mixed sprinkles. And we're just gonna put them just like that. I have done so many red velvets this month. I think 4 red velvets. This is my 5th red velvet. So that shows that how much people love red velvet. I'm just gonna add some crumbs on the top to give that red velvety look. It's not necessary if you don't want to. And then I had some sprinkles to add some bling. Just finish it off. And then I kept it in the fridge for the following day. And now we are ready to slice in this cake. Please make sure you clean your knife before you slice again like that, because that kind of messed the look of my cake. But nevertheless, it still tasted good. See how beautiful and moist that cake is. Thank you so much. For more recipes, please visit me at Aroma of Zanzibar. You'll find all the ingredients and the measurements in the description box below and on this very last page.